What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Friday the 13th lawsuit update video. Before we dive into the news of the day, just a friendly reminder, we do indeed have a membership program. For as low as $2 a month, you can directly support the channel, and you can earn up things like badge next to your name in the comments and live streams, exclusive movie nights, name in the credits of all of our videos, things on those lines, and it directly supports the channel. So thank you so much for considering. Feel free to check the join button below or the link at the top of the description to join. And to all of our current members, thank you so much for your support. Let's dive in. I know, things are juicy. So I was attempting to read this, but sometimes law mumbo-jumbo goes right over my head like it does many of us. One thing that did stand out to me, and I know Larry points this out. We'll go to Larry's tweets in a second. Old copyright lawyer Larry Zerner, also star Friday the 13th Part 3, who I definitely recommend you follow at Zerner Law and at Larry Zerner to keep your Friday the 13th lawsuit updates right there at the core of your Twitter feed. But one thing that stood out to me right away was this right here, which I thought was awesome that Larry pointed it out, which means I finally could point something out in terms of the lawsuit that was annoying. So this big document you see in front of you right here is actually HorrorInc's briefing response to Victor Miller's briefing. And like I said in the first paragraph to his preliminary statement, so right away here you see Miller has collected nearly $250,000 to date in payments for the film. This feels like a massive slap in the face. I don't like this. If I was Victor Miller, this would actually fucking offend me. So like, Miller has collected nearly $250,000. Wow, they talk about like that, like it's a lot of money. And to me and you, it might be a lot of money. That I would be happy to have $250,000 in my pocket. The problem with that is the Friday the 13th franchise has spawned hundreds of millions of dollars. So that personally offended me right away. After that, things got pretty mumbo-jumbo-y pretty fast, which is why we have the one and only Larry Zerner to help clarify things. So I want to go through these one tweet at a time and maybe get a fundamental understanding of this statement. Again, this is before we go into the actual appeal itself back to court, and this was HorrorInc's reply brief in this appeal process. As Larry says here, it reiterates a lot of the arguments from their opening brief, mainly that because Miller wrote the F-13 screenplay under a WGA agreement, he is, ipso facto, an employee and therefore cannot terminate. They also argue that there is a question of fact as to whether Miller was an employee under the CCNV versus Reed factors, which, as Larry says here, if you're not a copyright lawyer, we don't even want to dive into that, so we're not going to. This is already too much mumbo-jumbo in the first place, and a lot of us are just getting thrown through hoops here. Finally, they argue that Miller is barred from terminating because the copyright registration filed in 1980 says that Miller was an employee for hire, and therefore Miller had to file a lawsuit within 3 years to challenge the assertion. We've talked about this before, and basically this would change the Copyright Act entirely and how we see it and how authors can get rights back to their work after these 35 years. So like Larry is saying here, if the court upholds in the last reason, this will be really bad for all screenwriters everywhere. And like things like Wes Craven's estate recently taking back the Nightmare on Elm Street rights, it would change for them as well. It's something that's kind of scary if you're a screenwriter watching this. This case has like a lot of people get kind of stuck on the fact that the game doesn't have content, right? And they're like, oh, the game's not getting more content anyway, I don't care. You should care. This is a pretty big deal, not just for Friday the 13th, but other authors out there in the world. There's potential to change a lot of things here, and it's pretty scary. Then Larry goes on to talk about the exact point that upset me. But there is one point in their brief that I want to briefly discuss, and that's where Sean's lawyer makes a big deal over the fact that Victor has made $220,000 in residuals over the past 39 years, which 39 freaking years and just $220,000. I truly thought he would have made at least a lot more than that. I was expecting at least in the millions. Like, I don't think that helps your case at all. The fact that you gave him, he made money that he deserved, and a lot more money, like he deserves a lot more money than that. I just don't understand how you can use that as an argument to say, hey, you actually do not deserve the rights back to your work. It's just one of those situations. All right. And then, again, Larry was upset as well. So, since the original F-13 was released, a combined revenue is in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Sean Cunningham alone has made tens of millions of dollars from the F-13 movies. The series will continue to make tens or hundreds of millions of dollars going forward. Victor Miller, The man who helped create the franchise and made everyone else rich is doing what the Copyright Act allows, terminating his transfer in order to make a better deal with that. Everyone knows what this franchise is worth. Exactly. The idea these lawyers point to this $220,000 in total residuals. That's about $5,600 a year. That's all that is for spawning one of the biggest franchises of all time. Victor Miller got $5,600 a year. Wow, good. Yep, totally all he deserves. In any case, that's all the briefing. In about a month, the appellate court should provide dates for the oral arguments, which will be exciting. Can't wait. Oh boy. Probably in early 2020. And of course, we can rely on Larry to keep us updated as we go. Again, go follow Zerner Law on Twitter, and then go follow at Larry Zerner as well for his personal account. I can't thank Larry enough for keeping us up to date on this, because if it wasn't through all of this, although it's a complete mess and it's annoying to us Friday the 13th fans, thank God there is a Friday the 13th alumni who has a vast amount of knowledge when it comes to this situation and is able to keep us updated along the road. Truly, we're not hearing anything all that new here in terms of this briefing. It just, more greed, more dumb arguments, and it's not going anywhere. If you're expecting it to change before they go back to the appeal court, it won't. We're in for the long haul now, my friends. We're in for the long haul. Either way, it's exciting to watch it all play out. This has allowed me to learn some things about law and copyright law specifically. So yeah, it's interesting, and I'm very much at this point. I think knowing that I actually, like I said, I don't think the argument is very valid about Victor getting $220,000 in residuals because I thought he made a lot more than that, and now that I know he made a lot less, I'm all for him making a lot more. He deserves a way bigger cut than that for what he did for the franchise. Even if you don't like the first one, even if you don't like what he created, etc., doesn't matter. It spawned Jason. Jason is here because of what Victor Miller wrote. The guy deserves some money from that. That's kind of how I feel about it. Let's have a fun discussion in the comments. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But that is going to wrap up today's video. If you enjoyed, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. I'll be sure to keep you up to date as things play out here. But of course, Zerner will as well. So again, go follow him. He deserves every follow he gets. All right. With that, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. And we'll see you next time.